Hi everyone. Yesterday I shared a post about this HAPSIE comic cover featuring my buddy Greedy Greg. And I said that it was special, that there was more to the story. And today I'm going to tell you the rest of the story in the words of legendary radio personality Paul Harvey. Here is the rest of the story. This cover was inspired, and the story inside were inspired by Violet, who is a young writer who approached me at King Kong Comics and Games on Free Comic Book Day of this year, back in May. And she liked what I had, and then she asked me something very interesting. Violet said, "Can you take a story I write and turn it into one of your comics?" And I said, "Okay, let's go." I pulled out my notepad, and the parent who was with her said, "What about the story of Icarus that we just learned about?" So I said, "Okay, Violet, I am going to take your story. I am going to write it up. I am going to put Greedy Greg here into a situation very similar to Icarus. And when you get a chance to look inside at the story, you see that not only does Greedy Greg find a way to get the materials to fly because he's jealous of Fox, but by the end of the story, Fox even asks if Greedy Greg knows the story of Icarus. And then if he doesn't, he should look it up. So I had the story written up and approved, and then I was attending another event a few months later at the Livermore Comic Con, and Violet came up and reminded me that she'd met me, at which point I had a chance to tell her that not only did I write her story, but that it had been approved by the editor and it would be in an issue of HAPSIE. And this is the issue featuring Violet. Those are the kind of stories I did not realize I would get a chance to tell when I started in comics. But so many years later, I am thrilled that that's something that was so significant to 2025. And it's one of the things I'm looking forward to in 2026. In fact, I believe stories like this told with others, like my friend Henry Wu, and more stories we have planned for you, as well as the other great collaborators that I've met and known, are going to end up on comics you're reading. And if you want to see just how talented and inspiring Violet is, I encourage you to check out the October 2025 issue of Greedy Greg in HAPSIE's October magazine. That's my 2025 story, and as I said earlier, the rest of the story when it comes to that cover I shared. Happy 2026, everyone.